Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into something truly foundational, the first 51 articles of the Indian Constitution. But listen, this isn't going to be some dry legal breakdown. Think of it as the original blueprint for a nation. It's the actual story of how the idea of modern India was built, piece by piece.
I mean, that's the real question, isn't it? How do you actually build a country? How do you take all these diverse people, this ancient culture, and turn it into one cohesive nation? Well, it all starts with a plan, a blueprint.
And that's exactly what these first few articles are. They're not just boring lines of text in a law book. Nope. They are the narrative of creation. This is literally the step-by-step guide that brought the modern Indian state to life. So let's see how they did it. All right, so here's our roadmap. First, we'll look at how the map of India was drawn. Then we'll figure out who gets to be a citizen. After that, we're diving into our fundamental rights, the big stuff. Then we'll look at the country's long-term goals, and finally, we'll pull it all together to really understand the soul of the Constitution. Okay, let's kick things off with Part 1, Articles 1 through 4. And the best way to get this is to imagine India as a giant house being built. So what's the very first thing you do? You define the plot of land, right? You draw the boundaries. Well, that is exactly what these first articles do for the nation. Article 1 is so simple, but it's incredibly powerful. It just gives the house a name, India, that is Bharat. That's it. It sets the identity and says it's a union of states. Done. So what if you want to expand the house later on? Well, Article 2 gives Parliament the power to add new rooms. It can admit new states into the union. It's all about allowing for growth and welcoming new members into the family. And what about the rooms you already have? Article 3 lets you change the internal layout. Parliament can create new states, change the borders of the ones we have, or even rename them. It's all about having the flexibility to adapt. Now, here's the really practical part. Article 4 says that to make these changes, to add a state or change a border, you don't need some huge, complicated constitutional amendment. A simple law passed by Parliament is enough. This blueprint was designed to evolve. All right, the blueprint for the house is ready, the boundaries are drawn, so what's the next logical question? You got it. Who actually gets to live in this house? This brings us to Articles 5 through 11, all about citizenship. Now, with the borders set, it was absolutely crucial to define who belonged to this new national family. The Constitution set out very clear rules, especially keeping the chaos of partition in mind. It covered everyone, people already here, people who migrated from Pakistan, people who went and came back, and even people of Indian origin living overseas. And right here, a massive decision was made. The founders chose single citizenship, very deliberately. You are a citizen of India, period. Not of your state first, and then India. This was a powerful move to build a single, unified national identity from day one. Okay, so we've got our house, and we know who lives in it. Now for the most important part of all, the house rules. These are our fundamental rights. Think of them as the non-negotiable, unbreakable rules that protect every single person in the house. They're your shield. The Constitution gives us 6 main categories of fundamental rights. And these are not just suggestions, they are rock-solid guarantees. They cover everything from equality and freedom of speech to protection from exploitation, basically the foundations for a life of dignity. But among all of these incredible rights, one was considered the most important of all. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the main architect of the Constitution, called Article 32, the right to constitutional remedies, the very soul of the Constitution and the very heart of it. So why? What makes this one right so special that it's called the heart and soul of the whole thing? Why is it the master key that unlocks everything else? It's because this is the right that gives you the power to go directly to the Supreme Court if any of your other rights are taken away. Think about it. Without a way to enforce them, all those other rights would just be beautiful words on paper. This one gives them teeth. It makes them real. So we have the map, the citizens, and the unbreakable rules. But, you know, a good family, a good nation, it doesn't just run on rules, right? It has dreams, ambitions, a vision for what it wants to become. And that's exactly what Part 4 of the Constitution is all about, the directive principles. Now, it is absolutely critical to understand the difference here. Fundamental rights are what the government cannot do to you. They are legally enforceable. Directive principles, on the other hand, they aren't enforceable in court. They're more like a moral compass for the nation, guiding the government on what it should do.
And what are these goals? Well, they are the big, ambitious ones. We're talking about achieving social and economic justice, ensuring equal pay for equal work, protecting our environment, and even promoting world peace. These are the ideals the nation is always supposed to be reaching for.
And so, we've walked through all the core components of our nation's blueprint. Now, let's just step back for a second and see how it all clicks together to create this incredible picture.
You see, there's this really elegant, logical flow to it all. Step 1, you draw the map. Step 2, you define the citizens who live there. Step 3, you give those citizens a set of unbreakable rights. And finally, step 4, you set the long-term goals for everyone to strive towards. The whole blueprint for a nation, right there.
And understanding this foundation really brings us to the final, most powerful question of all. How does this blueprint, this document written over 70 years ago, continue to shape our lives, our society, and our politics right now, today? That's a question that's more relevant than ever.